Outcomes. So we actually have, over the years, really refined our assessment model. So as I mentioned, we still have a pretty rigorous portfolio-based assessment, but we also have built a studio transcript, which highlights 6 core competencies that students are learning during the time that they're at NuVu. And it's really meant to show that progression as students are coming in their first year and where they're at their third or fourth year. And one of the key I'd say core competencies is around that creative mindset. So a lot of the skills that come with problem solving or iterative design, prototyping, that critique and ability to take critique and feedback. So a lot of those core sub-competencies are within that competency. So the creative mindset is a big component. We also have other competencies such as personal growth, global mindset. We have both visual literacy, technical literacy as sort of our core competencies. So ultimately what's produced is the studio transcript, and that's a very important, I'd say, live document. And so a lot of our students that are college bound, this becomes a really key part of the college's ability to really understand what the students have learned, the skills and these competencies, in addition to the portfolio. And so I'd say about 98% of our students are college bound, and they are interested in all different types of programs, everything from media arts to industrial design to engineering to computer science. Some that are looking for programs that are unique that will allow them to create their own major. Some that are interested in programs where they can combine different fields such as entrepreneurship and engineering. So we also help them throughout the time that they're at NuVu better understand their interest and what type of a program might be their next step. They leave NuVu with a sense of purpose and wanting to impact positively the world around them. When we're imagining what our ideal student looks like, and there is no ideal student, but what are really the skills that are going to enable them to be successful in the future? What are they? What will give them the flexibility to survive, be successful, to be able to impact the world around them? And as we know, they're looking into a future which is unpredictable, even more so now. And so some of those core mindsets, the creative problem solving skills, I think are really, really, really key for our students to survive in an environment that's going to be changing. As we know, the pandemic itself brought about so much change, and people's ability to be nimble and understand how to completely redesign their, learning environment. We had students that were in Hawaii working together with students that were in Woodstock, and both really have interesting backgrounds in terms of looking at environmental issues. The Hawaii context builds on a lot of cultural pieces of how they think about the land and the environment. And so it's a really rich space for students to be able to connect and have those conversations at a really young age. So I think that the global literacy has been a really important piece of our thinking. We think of our school, which is situated in Cambridge, in the city of Cambridge. It's part of an ecosystem. It's not a school that's separate from the city. And so oftentimes where the studios that the students are looking at are issues that are taking place in the city around them. They recently our students were involved in a studio that was called and they're really focused on looking at the Black Heritage Trail that exists in the city of Boston. And that's a very unknown part of the city. And so they were working with a local architecture firm to design placemaking and architectural elements that would really highlight and bring out the history of this Black Heritage Trail that has been an integral part of the city, but it's just something that even as a tourist that you come into the city, you're very familiar with the Freedom Trail, but you're not very familiar with the Black Heritage Trail. So these types of topics make their way into the context of the work that the students are doing. And that is one ecosystem there. And then there's this larger, as I mentioned, global ecosystem that we can think about, where there are issues such as the environment, and what different cities where these schools are based are really, what are some of those environmental issues that students are facing. So we've always thought of ourselves as deeply connected into the communities where our schools are located, and drawing upon local issues, local organizations, and companies. Oftentimes students are working with people in the community, business owners, to help them rethink how to advertise and market their business in an interesting way. So the design prompts are really made for the students to better understand even the world that's directly around them.